Hey guys, Steve here. Welcome back to the Bloom Room, and thanks for tuning into Pre-Flight for these few weeks so far. And make sure you give some special props to Jason and Gil for putting this thing together for you guys. It's purely out of love, and they spend a lot of time and effort doing it. So anyway, just happy to be on board. Now, this week we're talking about our favorite Toonami moments. Mine don't necessarily have to do with specific shows on Toonami. It's more about my experience of working on Toonami. And if you've heard these things before, please forgive me. I talk about them at conventions all the time, but I get asked what my favorite moments were, and so I have to repeat it here. First, I would have to talk about when we came back on the air for the April Fool's joke in 2012. Not really a joke, it was just sort of a gift to you guys. And it was so interesting for me to sit back and just watch my email blow up, my email feed blow up from my website that night. And a lot of the fans were telling me there was a lot of chatter going on Twitter. And I had a Twitter account, but I didn't really know how to use it. And they were saying that things were just exploding. The fan base was not only present, but they were back in force. And apparently the ratings went insane that night. And so I just had to get online and see what it was all about. So I dialed up my Twitter feed and just started having conversations with you guys. And for those of you who had conversations with me that night, you know that I stayed up most of the night with you. And it was kind of an unprecedented thing in my career. I'd never seen that kind of instant feedback for something that I had worked on. It had nothing to do with me. It was just the love for Toonami and the old school stuff that all of us had been part of for so many years. I think it came as kind of a surprise to all of us at Toonami that you guys were tuning in en masse like that. And then the Twitter storms that followed, which ultimately led to Toonami coming back on the air, I would say that that whole thing was really one of my very favorite moments of Toonami, because it was a amazing way that we were able to facilitate outreach with you guys directly. We got some feedback from you guys directly. I heard it was on your minds. A lot of you were saying that you were pissed off because it was such a tease to have an April Fool's thing like that. And, you know, if you're not bringing back Toonami, how could you guys do this to us? But as you can see, it ultimately ended up being an amazing rebirth of Toonami, and I'm really grateful for that. Secondly, I would have to say that the inspirational videos that the guys put together at the network were amazing. I mean, they've always been amazing, but I think it really hit home for me when we did Fall Down 7 Times, Get Up 8, when I started doing the convention circuit. And people not only talked about how much they loved Toonami coming back and how it was such a part of their life, and that I had raised them. It was weird things like that I was hearing out there that I just wasn't used to. But even beyond that, I was hearing people's stories and how they were affected by these inspirational pieces. And they became my favorite thing to do on the show. And I think the guys at William Street would agree with that the profound effect it's had on you guys has really enriched my life in ways that I just couldn't have anticipated. I've heard stories about people who were suicidal, who stopped themselves by tuning into a show on Toonami, listening to an inspirational piece. Soldiers in other countries who on the battlefield would get feeds of Toonami that their friends would send them. And it helped them through some really rough times. People with cancer in the hospital, watching Toonami and listening to these inspirational videos and knowing that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down as long as you get back up again. And that was a very profound message for me, as all of these inspirational videos are. So anyway, that's the stuff that's really touched me on a core level, and thus has become my favorite moments of Toonami. There have been so many, honestly, there have just been so many great moments and profound times during the recording of Toonami, including the time that we had to say goodbye originally, that I remember having kind of a moment of silence on the phone, and I didn't realize how deeply I was affected by a cartoon show. But we built a better cartoon show, and we've rebuilt this better cartoon show again, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you for being such a huge part of my life. And I can't wait to see what comes next. Oh, we got some surprises for you, trust me. Until next pre-flight, see you later.